Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that review of the classic car and bike show that happened over the weekend. But bringing back to home, we have an amazing motorsport industry right here in Cape Town. And on the show, we like to invite people that have paved the way for others. And one such person is a legendary race car driver, pace car driver as well. In studio, I'd like to welcome Philip Herholdt. Philip, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invite.
My absolute pleasure. I've heard so much about you, being in the industry for so many years, helping the sport grow as well. But for those that don't know, how did you get started into this wonderful motorsport industry?
Well, it's been a real roller coaster ride for me. Started way back when I was still in school. We got involved with trying to hike through to see the adventures at Wembley and Dunswats and stuff like that.
Okay.
And obviously when I grew up, I got involved with racing in Paarl and Cape Hell drivers.
Okay, all right. And, I would imagine when you first started racing, what cars did you start with? Did you have to build it up yourself? Tell us about that journey.
Yeah, looking at your classic car show, it's a pity we took a lot of those cars and cut them to pieces and then we smashed them up on the oval. Old 56 Fords, Chevys, SS's, stuff like that. Collector's cars nowadays.
Yeah,
as I said
absolutely.
earlier.
It must have been so amazing to work on a car and see it then perform on the track as well. I mean, that endurance and the time spent must have been quite challenging.
It was challenging, and especially when you're lying on the garage floor at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to put a Chev gearbox back. Yeah, it's frustrating.
I can imagine. What are some of the memorable moments over your career that you would like to share with us?
Look, obviously, as I say, I've been very fortunate. Met a lot of famous people, or what I call famous, Sarel van der Merwes, the Peter Lindenbergs and stuff like that, Willie Hebburns. I've had an experience with Sarel on the main circuit.
Okay.
Very nerve-wracking going down that back straight at about 260.
Sure.
An old Galaxy, but yeah.
And during that time as well, those memorable moments, I would imagine you also made a lot of friends in the process, guys that will remain friends for many years or have been friends for many years.
Yeah, obviously we have some of those who have moved on, but there are still some of them around. And yeah, Uncle Jack Holloway, Harold Lotte, Dion de Waal, those people. Amazing people, Chris Wanapools of this world.
Right.
And yeah, no, as I say, it's been a real roller coaster ride, and I've been one of the very fortunate guys.
Fantastic. Look, I've only heard good things about how you've contributed towards the racing circuit as well, and I'm sure there are others that have done the same. But when it comes to a sport like motor racing or motorsport industry itself, there are various challenges. One would be the upkeep of the car. It's not a cheap sport. What are some of the challenges over the years that you've experienced, and how did you overcome them?
Well, look, obviously, we built our own cars. We broke them, we fixed them, and then we got too expensive. I got out of the car racing section of my life, and I went into the official section.
Okay.
Where I wrote exams and qualified as clerk of the course, race director, whatever they call them nowadays.
Right.
We have numerous titles, and yeah, the challenge is to get the clubs to work together, get the rules. Everybody can comply to the rules.
Right.
And yeah, it's an ongoing challenge.
Yeah, so that must be quite demanding as well. And a lovely WhatsApp that's come through that says, Philip, you're not 21 years old anymore. Do you think you'll ever call it a day in motorsport?
I've been asked that question numerous occasions. I'd like to think while I can, and while it's useful, I'd like to contribute as much as I can, yes.
Right. When you were racing, and you still race at the moment, Phil?
No.
Okay, so you've called it quits. But when you were racing, did you have a team behind you? Was it family, friends that, helped you get your car together?
Yeah, look, those days you didn't have all these magic sponsors you have today. It was family and friends, and we were camaraderie. That was a big thing with us.
Right.
The guys used to back each other up. We used to crash cars and we helped guys fix them, and vice versa.
When racing, I would imagine a lot in the Cape area. Have you traveled nationally to race as well?
Unfortunately, I never had that opportunity.
Okay,
but
so
yeah,
locally.
local
So your favorite local tracks?
Well, look, currently the only track that's left is Killarney, where I'm heavily involved in, officiating and driving pace car. And then obviously at Zone 7, where I've just tendered my services to help out on dirt cart, oval, and with the radio controlled cars.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's two big challenges which I've just taken on now with Johan Spies at Zone 7.
Right. Being in the industry for so many years, what are some of the significant changes that you've noticed?
That's a difficult one, Lugman. The problem is that there are many people involved, and you get different characters around, and the big obstacle, in my humble opinion, is getting people to work together and think of the other party,
Right.
not as a competitor, but as somebody that you can help and go around building all the small clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of clubs that have come up over the years. And if someone wants to go into a sport like this, wants to join a club or has joined a club, what are some great advice that you would like to pass on?
First of all, learn your rules. Secondly, respect people out there. That's basically what you need to do.
Right. The onset of the industry has now evolved into the electric cars. Are you still petrol head? Do you find that there's a need for that coming into the motorsport industry?
Look, obviously, last year I was fortunate enough to get involved with the electric car racing in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Scary, but I think I'm still a petrol head at this stage.
It's very difficult for people to change from being involved in the industry for so long to now a very different type of racing. Or do you find that some have moved over?
It's exciting, but it's a little bit unknown.
Yeah.
And I think we're all afraid of the unknown. We like to live in the joy that we know.
Right. Yeah. We're going to put some pictures up on the screen as well, where we've been given some of your photos that you've raced various cars. What's it feel like before a race? Do you have a pre-race routine that you do, or is it how's the nerves before you get into that seat and onto the track?
Yeah, look, man, I think you've hit it on the head. Nerves, very unnerving. You do walk to the gents a couple of times, and then obviously when you get in the car, you got to settle yourself down and then focus on what you're going to do for the rest of the night.
Okay. And I mean, that adrenaline must be something else as well. I mean, how do you mentally, physically prepare before a race?
Look, I mean, you try and calm yourself down. I don't think you can actually really be ready until you actually get the flag and you start going out. But yeah, it's something you just have to focus on.
Okay, sounds interesting. Sounds like a very demanding sport as well. People are traveling the world as ambassadors for our country in the motorsport industry as well. All started on our track in the Western Cape.
Yes, no, look, I mean, you've got guys like Hilaal de Villiers and Herholdt van der Merwe. These guys have been fortunate at the right times to get into where they are. And I think it's awesome. You've got Brad out there now doing things for South Africa.
Yes.
And I think it's magic, you know what I mean? It's awesome to be involved in something that led to something like that.
Right. Are there other people that come from other parts of the world? Do they come and race in Cape Town?
Yes, we get the David Pipers of this world. They come, they bring the circus to us.
Okay.
And obviously the Scribanti people all, yes, there's a lot of international stuff
so
happening.
the competition must be quite tough.
It's also a learning curve. It's, they bring back memories and things that we've seen and we learn from them. So yeah.
Looking back at your career that you've had for so many years, is there anything you do different? Is there any advice that you would have for someone going into a sport like this?
I don't think I've changed very much. It's been very enjoyable. I would just once again say, learn the rules, learn respect, and respect people.
Yeah, and it's also the safety. The rules are there
obviously,
for everybody's safety.
Is the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
That's what we all focus on, and that's why I say focus. Safety, yes, it's got to be there. Can't be played with.
Yeah, and the spectators come and have a family day at the track as well. That must be such an amazing experience.
It's amazing to actually see the reaction of some of those people, and you think, not really that exciting, but I'm glad that you're enjoying it as well.
For sure.
So yeah.
Phil, thank you so much for coming into studio. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Thank you for all that you've contributed towards the motorsport industry. And I'm sure, people will go on for years talking about Phil Herholdt and the amazing contribution and, their admiration that they have for you as well. In closing, any last message you would like to leave for our audience?
Yeah, just keep it safe.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, my main subject is respect.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Phil. All the very best to you and your team and your family. And we look forward to catching up with you in the near future.
Thank you very much for the invite.
It's
Thank
my
you
pleasure.
very much.
Legendary race car driver and pace car driver at Killarney, Phil Herholdt, chatting to us on the Motorsport Show. After the break, we chat to a young man that pilots a Ford and Ford Escort. He corrected me because I thought it's another model. He's coming up after the break. Do join us. The WhatsApp line is going to be open as well, so you can also contribute and pass your messages on as well. You are still watching Hilaal Live.